Noah, the ark builder who saved the world. Hello viewers, I welcome you to another episode of Heroes of Faith, and I will be discussing the life and legacy of Noah. The story of Noah is one of the most pivotal and dramatic narratives in the Bible, a story of faith, judgment, redemption, and the covenant between God and humanity. It unfolds against the backdrop of a world marred by sin, where one man stands as the beacon of hope for the future of all creation. His name is Noah, a man chosen by God to undertake a mission that would forever alter the course of history. Before the flood, the earth was a place of violence, corruption, and moral decay. Mankind, who had once been created in the image of God, had descended into wickedness. Genesis 6:5 tells us, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." The earth was filled with violence, greed, and injustice, and the Lord's heart was grieved by the state of his creation. The harmony that once existed in the world had been shattered by sin, and God's judgment was about to be unleashed. Yet in the midst of this corruption, there was one man who stood out as a beacon of righteousness, Noah. His name meant rest, a fitting name for a man who would be called to bring rest to a world that had become weary with sin. The Bible describes Noah as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. While the world descended into depravity, Noah remained faithful to God, living a life of integrity and obedience. Noah was the son of Lamech. His father named him Noah because he believed his son would bring comfort to humanity from the curse of the ground. This name would become prophetic, though no one could have imagined the trials and triumphs that lay ahead for this humble man. For Noah, his legacy would not be defined by mere ancestry, but by his steadfast relationship with the Creator and his willingness to follow a divine call that would alter the course of history. God's call and the ark. One fateful day, God spoke to Noah. It was a moment that would change his life and the future of all living creatures. In the midst of a corrupt and decaying world, God made a decision. He would bring judgment upon the earth through a great flood, wiping out all life that had corrupted his creation. But in his mercy, God spared Noah and his family. God said to Noah, "I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out." Noah was given a seemingly impossible task, to build a massive ark that would house him, his family, and two of every kind of animal on earth. This ark would be a vessel of salvation in the face of the coming judgment, a way for life to survive and begin anew after the flood waters receded. The dimensions of the ark were nothing short of extraordinary. It was to be 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high, an enormous structure that would dwarf anything Noah had ever seen. The ark was to be built according to God's precise specifications, every detail laid out in perfect order. Noah's blueprint for the project was God's command. He had no contractors, no skilled laborers to help him. He was alone in his mission, working with only his family at his side. But Noah did not hesitate. He did not question God's command, nor did he ask for more explanation. He simply obeyed. Day after day, year after year, Noah labored at the task. He chopped down trees, carved beams, and built the massive structure that would save his family and the future of the world. The sounds of hammer and saw echoed through the wilderness as Noah's faith in God's word kept him steady, even as the world around him descended further into sin and rebellion. The people who lived around Noah must have thought him mad. At that time, the world had never seen rain, let alone a flood. The idea that such a catastrophe could come upon the earth was beyond their comprehension. And so they mocked him. They laughed at his efforts, derided his obedience, and dismissed his warnings. But Noah pressed on, unwavering in his conviction that God's word was true. He continued to build the ark, knowing that the time of reckoning was drawing near. As the ark neared completion, God gave Noah another remarkable command. to gather 2 of every kind of animal, male and female, to take into the ark with him. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. God said. This was no small task. Imagine the effort required to gather every kind of animal from the corners of the earth. Yet, the Bible tells us that God himself guided the animals to Noah. The creatures came to the ark in pairs, each species arriving at the designated time, following God's instructions without question. There was no fear, no hesitation, just the obedience of creation to its creator. Noah's task was not simply to bring the animals together, but to ensure their survival. The ark would house them, protect them, and preserve their existence through the coming storm. As Noah and his family welcomed the animals into the ark, they were creating a sanctuary, a place where life would continue to flourish once the judgment had passed. For Noah, this moment was a powerful reminder of God's provision. Though the world was filled with chaos, God had a plan. The ark, with its carefully gathered inhabitants, was a testament to God's mercy and his determination to restore the world after the flood. The moment of judgment arrived. The heavens opened, and the earth beneath them erupted as the fountains of the deep were unleashed. Rain poured down in torrents. The waters rose, covering the earth with devastating force. And as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose higher and higher on the earth, until all things under the entire heavens were submerged. The flood was not a simple rainstorm. It was a cataclysmic event, an act of divine judgment that affected the entire world. The flood wiped out everything that had once lived on the earth, every human, every beast, every bird, every creeping thing, except for those aboard the ark. Noah, his family, and the animals were sealed inside the ark, protected by the hand of God. They were isolated from the destruction, floating in the vast empty waters. The flood lasted for 40 days and 40 nights, but the journey was far from over. The waters remained on the earth for a total of 150 days, and during this time, Noah and his family waited. The ark became a sanctuary, a place of refuge in the midst of divine judgment. Finally, after many long months, the waters began to recede. The first 3 verses of Genesis chapter 8 describe how God remembered Noah and the creatures on the ark. God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, and after many days, Noah sent out a raven to test whether the waters had subsided. The raven flew back and forth, but it did not find a place to rest. Next, Noah sent out a dove. The dove returned with an olive leaf in its beak, signaling that the waters were receding and that new life was beginning to sprout on the earth. When the earth was dry, Noah and his family emerged from the ark. The world they stepped into was empty, void of the people and creatures who had once inhabited it. But it was also a new beginning, a fresh start. The earth had been washed clean, and now Noah and his family were to be the stewards of this renewed world. God spoke to Noah, renewing the covenant he had made with Adam and Eve. In Genesis chapter 9 and verse 11 to 13, God said, "I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." God also said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." The rainbow became a symbol of God's promise, a reminder that though judgment had come, mercy would prevail. God's covenant with Noah marked a new chapter in the story of humanity, one of hope, restoration, and renewal. Noah's mistakes and the curse of Canaan. Despite Noah's righteousness, he was not immune to mistakes. He still had the limitations of humanity. After the flood, he planted a vineyard and made wine. One day, after drinking too much, he became drunk and lay naked in his tent. His son Ham saw his father's nakedness and told his brothers, Shem and Japheth. Instead of joining in the shame, Shem and Japheth covered their father, walking backward into the tent with a garment to shield him from dishonor. When Noah awoke and learned what had happened, he pronounced a curse on Ham's son Canaan, saying, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." This moment remains a deeply debated and complex episode, with various interpretations about the significance of the curse. Nonetheless, it serves as a reminder that even the righteous are vulnerable to sin, and that honor and respect for one's parents are of great importance. The end of Noah's life and his legacy. Noah lived for 350 years after the flood, seeing his sons' families grow and the world begin anew. His legacy was not one of perfection, but of faithfulness, obedience, and covenant promise. Noah's story speaks of the judgment of God, but also of the hope of salvation and restoration. Noah died at the age of 950, having lived through a transformative moment in history. His life reminds us that, though humanity may falter, God's covenant is unshakable, His mercy is boundless, and His judgment is just. From Noah's story, we learn the importance of obedience to God, the hope of redemption, and the faithfulness of the Creator, who always provides a way out for His people. Noah's story is a testimony of the eternal truth that even in the midst of overwhelming judgment, God is merciful, and there is always hope for those who walk faithfully with Him. Noah's unwavering faith and obedience to God's commands, even in the face of mockery and uncertainty, also stand as a powerful example for us today. Trusting in God's word, even when it seems impossible, is central to a life of righteousness. That was the life and legacy of Noah. I hope you were blessed by his story. Thank you for watching and listening. Look through our channel for other inspiring episodes. Please like and share this video. Also, subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I drop a new, life-changing and entertaining video. See you in the next video.